Hey, it's Raven Tactical Prepper Channel. We're going to do a little bit of history, right? Every time a communist regime takes control, they force usually the people in the country to move into the city. The Soviets did it. And even in the 20s, when you had the FDR style and the kind of the communist uprising, they kind of did the same thing, you know, the great industrial push. Get people out of farms, get people out of the country, push them to the city. Why? Because typically city has more corrupt, more terrible communist values in there. Because you don't really have a connection with your food. You don't have a connection with the people who produce the things. You don't have an appreciation for self-reliance. So what's going to happen, I think, and if I'm right, the cost of living in country living is usually higher. I mean, everybody talks about moving out to the country to save money, to get away from it all. But no, you do pay more, in a way. Your drive to work, because most people still have to work, is longer. Your drive to the grocery store is longer. You have to plan your trips out a little bit better. You can't just go to the grocery store every single day. Some things that also pay attention to is like, so when you're paying more for gas, well, that sucks. Now you got to really plan it out if you're paying twice as much in gas. When I talk about heating, so heating your house, usually in the country, requires propane. Now propane, for the most part, is kind of a weird flux market. It can, for the most part in summer, it's cheap because not everybody's demanding it. The farmers aren't demanding it. Usually in winter it goes up about, I would say, 70%. So you're paying maybe in our area about $1.80 a gallon in the dead of winter, and usually around $1.10 in summer, give or take. What'll happen, I think, is because everybody fears everything, they'll raise the cost of propane, they'll spike it because that's what their plan is, so that it makes it basically impossible to live out there, forcing people to sell their farms to basically bigger corporate people or kind of the elite people who are wealthy enough to afford it. The push for people out of California who are going to bring all their kind of values we don't want will wind up being in these places. They'll take our land, they'll take our properties. They've gone through Montana, they've gone through Texas. They are changing these states from being a mostly conservative patriot community to they're starting to change it to where it's very liberal as views. And they're bringing their crappy values after abandoning their state, destroying it essentially, because they couldn't afford to live there anymore. I think the push for us will be they want us to move. They want the rural people, because the rural people generally don't follow their agenda. The rural people want to be left alone. The rural people are, in general, the spirit of the country of 1776, in my opinion. I'm not saying that the people who live in the suburbs or city can't be it either, but usually that self-reliance, the ability to want to basically do your own thing and be left alone is probably the foundation of what America is. You just want to have that rebellious spirit where you want to fight against everything that comes at you. Because everything is about control. And how do you get the patriots who live in that rural area? Sometimes, for the most part, make ends meet. There's wealthy people, but for the most part, the patriot groups are make ends meet. They do what it takes. How do you do that? Well, you raise their cost of living to the point that they have to force to move into a city. What does the city bring? Well, the city brings things like zoning restrictions. They bring in things like taxes on certain things. They also bring in neighbors who hate you. They bring in school areas that are terrible. They bring in more violence. They put you on top of people where you mentally get driven insane. I will never move back to a city living again. I can't do it. I hated city living. I couldn't stand the neighbors that had nothing better to do than complain about you and your dogs and pets. It's just people are in your business. There's no way around it. So let me know what you think. Let me know. Sorry for kind of a weird rant that kind of went a little bit all over the place, but it's Raven Tactical signing out here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you can. Appreciate the channel growth. Anyways, have a great day.